Take my hand, no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Good evening. It's Saturday, June 5th. When you're watching this, I'm actually recording it Friday night because the weather was so bad last weekend and we were going to have our grandsons over, but it's supposed to be nice this weekend. So tomorrow, later on in the afternoon, I'm taking them to the pool. And so I'm recording this on Friday on a very rainy, stormy evening. Well, actually, it looks like it's breaking up right now. It looks like the sun is trying to peek out. So we have lots to talk about. And it's National Home Ownership Month. We're going to talk about that. And so let's move along with our little introduction. Okay, I already have my PDF file set up, and we'll go right into the topics. I'm going to have a special segment of the podcast where I'll give you my predictions, and I'll go into more detail what happened during the week with my business and what I've read, and you could take it for what it's worth. It's just my personal experience. It's my readings that I've read. It's my background. I've been in the business 25 plus years. But I'll talk about that afterwards. So let's talk about 6 reasons to celebrate National Home Ownership Month. And let me just make us more room here and move that out. Okay. And we have a lovely mom and daughter in the kitchen enjoying their new home. Looks like nice custom-made cabinets. Really very nice. So this lesson is actually geared for, and let me get back here. This episode is actually geared for people who maybe are not buyers as of yet or owners of homes. And we're going to talk about the non-financial benefits and then financial benefits of doing it. So if you are renting right now and you probably have realized that your monthly rent may be actually higher than a mortgage payment for a house that's similar to you're living in right now. Or even if it's an apartment, if you're in a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment with 2 baths, you might find out homes that are similar to that. The amount of bedrooms, the baths, we could go by square footage as well. A house would always be a little bit bigger, but you most likely will find out, and I could help you find out by using my my mortgage loan officers, who are associates of mine, and they could show you what a cost would be of a house with that same amount of bedrooms, baths, square footage, if it has a garage, and so forth. And in most situations with today's lower rates, you will find out that most likely you will pay less in the mortgage payment than in rent. Okay? So right off the bat, it's a savings. Now, before we get into that, they list in this article, and this article is actually on my blog as well, Real Estate with Mr. G, mrg.blog, and you'll see this article there. So one thing, civic participation. Owning a home is owning a part of your neighborhood. Homeowners have a stronger connection to their neighborhoods and are more committed to volunteer work and other ways to get involved. Now, I'm in the homeowners association, but actually where I go to the pool it's in another development, and they have a big pool, and then they allow people, of course you have to pay a fee to use the pool, and it's well worth it. And this association does so much, and they always are posting family activities. They have a lot of activities planned for the pool this summer, whether it's a specific night, if it's a dress-up night, if it's they might do something like Halloween in July, and children will wear costumes, and they do something every 2 weeks. They'll have a food truck come. They did a beautiful Memorial Day ceremony last Saturday. So when you become part of that, there's a lot of pride involved with that, and to volunteer. And as all these festivities come about, it actually makes more people want to live in that area and purchase. It may increase the value of the homes. It's not 100% all the time, but if it becomes a very desirable neighborhood, that does and should increase home values. Okay? So civic participation is very nice. And let's move down a little bit further. And of course, we have pride of ownership. Pride of ownership. Owning a home is having a space that's uniquely yours. You can customize it to your personal liking and make it reflect your personality and values. Like this year, we're upgrading our kitchen. If it was a rental, we couldn't do that. We would have to deal with what the landlord or the property owner allows us or has already put in there. 2 summers ago, we upgraded our floors on the first floor. We took our carpeting and we put in this new premium vinyl in it that's really, really nice. Okay? Of course, you can't do that if you are in a rental. And here they say a safe space. Owning a home gives you a sense of security and privacy, 2 things that have become even more valuable as we tackle the challenges of the recent health crisis. And to add on to that, many people's homes have become their offices, has become their learning center for their children. And one of the reasons why we have such a strong demand in the market, where we have so many buyers, because buyers are looking for homes like this, where they would have more room for a home office, more room to teach their children at home. Not 100%, but for maybe a couple of days a week. We're going through now such a transition, by the way, dealing with our work habits and our school habits. And going into the business arena, most people are finding out I don't have to travel in every day to go to the office to work. I mean, look, I'm doing this at home now. I have a big, I think this is a 32-inch screen. I have another computer over here. I have my laptops. I have my printer. Whatever you could do in the office, you could do at home. So why do I have to travel each day? Especially if I'm, my office is in New York City and I'm out on the island or upstate a little bit, and I have to drive to put my car in the parking lot by the train system, the railway, take a railroad into the city, jump on the subway, and get to my office. Sounds like madness. And a lot of people do that. And I'm not knocking anybody who had to do that. But, hey, it would be nice if I just have to do that twice a week. Or maybe I don't have to do it at all. I could go in twice a month. And so people are realizing that they don't have to be either living in New York City or even on the outskirts, which is still pretty expensive, but not as expensive as living within New York City or Brooklyn, which is very expensive now, and that's where I'm from. Okay, they could live out in more of the suburbs, like New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Okay, and it's nice. And the thing about it is their houses will be less expensive, and for that less expense, they could get a much bigger house. And now they're working at home, they're teaching their kids at home, and so forth. Okay. So this is a change that we are all going through right now, and I'm getting a message that one of my streams is not going through. Let me just check something. I want to make sure. Just having little technical difficulties here. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, let me continue. Let me go down a little bit further. And here we are. And here we are at the financial benefits. Okay? And this is the biggie. Okay? Forced savings. So as you're paying off your mortgage, of course, a certain percentage of that goes to interest. And at the very beginning of your mortgage, most of it is going to interest, but you're paying off some of that of your balance. And every time you pay off some of that balance, your equity or your ownership in the house goes up. Okay? And as you do that, let's say if you want to finance a kitchen upgrade or a bathroom upgrade, you could borrow against that equity or ownership in your home. All right. So you have a forced savings. Now, you may not ever want to use that, and that's fine. Okay. You don't have to take loans against it, but it's still in your favor. Okay. That's an asset, and this is what you own, your equity in your house. Okay. So if you have a rental, you're just paying rent. Okay. And you're not building up any savings. We lived in the rental. We had a beautiful rental, and there was actually 2 top floors of brownstone. And I figured over the many years we're there, I probably paid about $350,000 in rent. I have nothing to show for that. Now, we had a beautiful rental. We were 20 minutes from downtown Manhattan. We were, it was a great neighborhood, but there's no savings with that, right? The fixing of the house is always the headache of the owner. All right, so they would have to fix things that are going wrong. But if I wanted to upgrade the kitchen, I couldn't do that. So we decided that we needed to buy, and just to go a little bit into my story, I thought the prices were getting much too high in Brooklyn, and that was, like 20 years ago. Now it's outrageous. We decided, just like what's happening now, that we would go to another part of the United States. We had a lot of family and friends in Virginia, and we checked out the area, and we liked it, and we came down here. So what would have been much less in our rental payment, we have our own home. It's in a wonderful location, and it's appreciated, at least doubled, and probably a little more than doubled since we bought it. And this is good stuff, okay? That's good stuff. Which brings us to the next topic, appreciation. Owning a home is making an investment that steadily gains value, and experts project home values will continue to rise in the years to come. Now, that's not always guaranteed. In 2007, 2008, when we had the burst of the bubble, there were many inflated prices of homes, so they did come down. Home prices don't always go up, but most times they do, unless there's a big economic problem throughout the country, okay? So in most situations, homes will appreciate. They can fall in value if something goes wrong with the economy. All right, and stability. Owning a home means having better control over your future housing payments. Over the years, the mortgage stays relatively steady, but rent costs continue to rise. And just to add a little caveat to that, and most people will get a fixed rate mortgage. So that stays steady. If you have a 30-year mortgage, that mortgage and interest payment does not change in those 30 years. Now, what might go up a little bit if the taxes increase and your real estate taxes go up. You might find out one year you're making a payment of $20 more. Okay, so that will, but it's not a gigantic. If you rent, your landlord just decides I'm going to add another $100 to your rent, it shouldn't be that big. But it may go up because of rises in the tax assessments, paying your real estate taxes. And the other reason why it might go up is your home insurance, if that changes. All right. So those are two reasons, but that shouldn't be dramatic jumps in your monthly payments. So bottom line, if you own your home, take time this June to celebrate the ways home ownership has added value to your life. If you hope to become a homeowner this year, this is what I end, so connect me. Please call me. Okay, you'll see wherever you're seeing this program, you could contact me. You'll see my contact information at the end of the credits. But again, wherever you're visualizing this podcast, there'll be a way to contact me. Okay? So that's our home ownership month. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure we're separate because I've noticed that, I like to talk, and I'll go into a long, big diatribe, if that's what you could call it, and talk about the current real estate market. I just wanted to get them more focused. So what we're going to have now, and this is just me, okay? We're going to have this. Okay, I know that looked a little silly, but I just wanted to put a little break in there. All right, so one thing I noticed about showing homes this week, I showed a couple of homes this week that actually have been on the market, not a whole long period, but at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. And these homes, let's say they had situations, not really horrific, but where a buyer may have issue with, and it's not their cup of tea, like the bedrooms being a little bit too small, or one bedroom that they would need was off the kitchen, and in that bedroom they had the big the electrical cabinet was in there. That's usually maybe in the utility room, and so whoever takes that room, you have this big metal box there with all the outlets. May not be everybody's cup of tea, Another house I showed, and beautiful upgrades. They made it into 5 bedrooms, and I don't know why they did that. They should have made like one big master suite. There were 2 full bathrooms, one on each floor. I don't know if they could have added another bathroom and make it like what they call it now a suite. We used to call it a master bedroom. Now it has this very fancy name. But if they could not have done that, added an extra bathroom, they should have connected 2 rooms. All right. So, most people, they're happy with a 3 or 4 bedroom. I never have people ask me for a 5 bedroom, unless the King family. And now that's an old joke. Okay. Back in the 70s, it was a King family and they would perform, and there were a lot of people in there. Okay. So unless there were a lot of, children in the family, most people will ask for a 3 to 4 bedroom. Very rare I hear people say 5. Okay. And it was actually, they were all with bedrooms because they had closets and windows and doors. But be that as it may, I'm also seeing more homes going on the market. Now, that's with the clients who I'm feeding out listings. All right. So this is a personal observation. But it has always been my feeling, as we get out of this COVID-19 virus, more people will be feeling at ease about putting their house on the market. Okay? A lot of people who still live in their house and need to find their own house, they do not want a whole lot of people walking through the house and perhaps spreading, the virus. So with us coming out of it, and again, we still have to move along. It's still out there. We need more people to get vaccinated. But if we continue on this good path, I believe anyway that more homes will go on the market. So I actually had this up last week. Well, housing inventory increases in 2021. I'm saying yes, as long as we stay on this path. And then the question is, what about home prices? Well, as more homes go on the market, it should begin to level off. Okay, they should not go much higher. It's just a basic economic principle. People ask, will they fall? I don't think so, unless the economy goes bad, and I don't think it will. Okay? So I believe throughout this year, we will be getting more inventory and prices will begin to level off. And what probably will help level that off too is that mortgage rates are going up. And that's going to cut back. In fact, I saw an article this week that there's less people applying for mortgages right now. So it's a big incentive to jump in and into the market with low rates and house. But as it goes up, people say, all right, I'll just wait a little longer. I don't have to rush into it. I don't have to buy the house right now. I don't want to hear that. I want you to buy a house now and call me. But a lot of people are saying that, as interest rates go up, okay, there'll be less people looking. Not that we're going to have, it's going to become a buyer's market, but the craziness that's going on right now should start going down, okay? And if President Joe Biden's bill gets passed and there's a $15,000 credit for new home buyers, and new home buyers also include people who had homes but sold them 3 years ago. They are then considered new home buyers. Now, this will be good, because people saying, well, we have so many buyers in the market, why get more in there? Well, this will help let's say, the people who not really up on the pay scale right now. They just started their careers. They're here. I mean, they're going to move up, but they want to buy a house, but they're getting so expensive that they need more money for a down payment. They need closing costs, and this would help. Now, to throw a prediction, I think this is going to be battled, and I think it will go through, but it'll probably be maybe around 8,000. It'll be nice if it's over 10,000 because the prices are so crazy, it would be helpful. But I think there's going to be a reduction in it. But as an old friend of the family would say, he was a good philosopher, a good friend, a good philosopher. His name was Tico Garcia. I'll say his name. Great guy. He had a saying, something is better than nothing. Okay? So if you get some money, it's better if you never got this credit here. So I think it's going to be helpful. So I predict that there'll be more homes on the market as we go through 2021. Prices will begin to stabilize, and mortgage rates will go up, and that'll cut back on some of the people entering the market. It's still going to be a lot of people out there, but we're at a craziness right now that will go down. And if this tax credit goes through, which would be nice, it'll be really nice gift to new home buyers, okay, and give them a chance. We have to rebuild the middle class. We really don't have a middle class right now. This will help, okay? This will help people with a little bit lower incomes, maybe middle incomes, buy a home now. Homes which are very expensive now, okay? All right, we're almost at that 30-minute mark, and I want to show this video. This came out this week on my blog post, and mortgage rates. Okay, I think this is. All right, let me just show it, and I'll explain what it is afterwards. Okay, let me get rid of my caption. All right. Okay, so that's a little reminder. It's still a great time to go in and take advantage of those low rates before they go up even higher. Okay, so do that. That's important for especially my new home buyers. Okay, if you are looking for a home, you could go to my website and you could search all of Hampton Roads. Okay, and that's realestatewithmrg.com. And you could also get your home value if you're selling. And I would love to get some more listings out there. They're going like hotcakes. If you're ready, call me. I'll give you a great presentation, and let's get your house on the market. All right. This month I should be getting the new home and buyer seller guides. And as soon as I get that, I'll post it on the podcast and add it to my blog, and you could download those. All right, so I'm hearing that our producer Leonard Potapkin is leaving. This is actually his last podcast with us. So is that true, Leonard?
Chris, it is true. Today is my last day here as your producer. I am going back to Bashkortostan to be with my family. I will miss you and the staff. Nonetheless, we have a repeat guest in the audience that I know everyone will truly love. He is a songwriter, musician and record producer. A prominent figure in popular music during the second half of the 20th century, this man is one of the most successful songwriters and musicians. A virtual one-man band, his use of synthesizers and further electronic musical instruments during the 1970s reshaped the conventions of rhythm and blues. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stevie Wonder.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me see what happened. Hold on for a second. Where did this go? Didn't I? Okay. I apologize for that.
Yes, yes, it is true. Today is my last musical instruments, gentlemen.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I apologize. Let me just. Because this was our special guest, I downloaded the wrong. I downloaded the wrong video. Just give me 1 second. Why didn't it? All right, let's see. Okay, so I apologize. So this is Leonard's Patakin last production. My producer for my show, and he's heading out back to his. I can't pronounce it, but it's somewhere in the former Soviet Union, and he's going back there. We're going to have a new producer next week. Okay, and he gave me his 2 weeks notice, and he will be headed out. But I just want to make sure he gets his goodbye. And we did have a very special guest in the audience. He actually was here on one of our first shows, and he came back, and I thought that's really nice. So I want to make sure that we see him, and just have to get everything set up here. And okay, I think we have it uploaded now. So let's go to this.
Chris, it is true. Today is my last day here as your producer. I am going back to Bashkortostan to be with my family. I will miss you and the staff. Nonetheless, we have a repeat guest in the audience that I know everyone will truly love. He is a songwriter, musician and record producer. A prominent figure in popular music during the second half of the 20th century, this man is one of the most successful songwriters and musicians. A virtual one-man band, his use of synthesizers and further electronic musical instruments during the 1970s reshaped the conventions of rhythm and blues. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stevie Wonder.
Okay. All right. I'm glad Stevie came back. He's looking great. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking a lot younger, but it was nice that he was back in the audience. Okay, so I'll see you next week with my new producer, and be well. In the stores that they ask you to wear a mask, please wear your mask, especially if you have not been fully vaccinated. And if you haven't been fully vaccinated, please do. We're almost at this end of this horrific pandemic, and we got to make sure that it's dead to rights, okay? So be well, be kind to each other. What I always say, the greatest gift that we have, the greatest power that we have is love. And the greatest gift is each other. Okay? And I'll see you next week. And let me make sure I have my right ending video.